Have you found the one? Not that one, the one. Ikaw, Rap, tanong ko sa'yo, have you found the one?
Feeling ko, medyo malayo-layo pa. Ano the one ba yan? Pinag-usapan mo? Ikaw ba, Chay?
Actually, medyo strong
What do you
yung...
mean by the one?
medyo strong ata yung tanong natin ngayon, no?
Oo nga eh. But I think it's very relevant. Di ko alam kung marami sa mga viewers natin. Paano ko mahahanap yung aking the one?
Tama. Napapaisip ka eh. Kasi, syempre, diba, lagi relevant ang usapang love. Ang usapang paghahanap ng iyong perfect partner, the one.
Yes.
So, actually, napakasaya ng ating conversations. Baka medyo handa ka na ba sa emotional roller coaster natin today na wanted perfect husband or wife?
Oh, ako excited ako because, well, hindi naman sa may pressure, for all our viewers and for me. As we will be hearing stories from the couples that we have for this episode. But it's just, I guess it's also just exciting to hear their stories of finding the one. Them finding the one for them as God has led them to. So yun, excited ako siya eh.
Ako din. So, wag na tayo magpaligoy-ligoy. Bati natin ang ating FRC fam. Again, it's Chai.
And Rap.
Hello. And
hello.
I'll introduce our guests. Our first couple for today, FRC fam, has been married for 32 wonderful years and has been blessed with 2 sons. And both are part of the couple ministry coordinators for Public Affairs Ministry and the Social Communications Ministry. So let us all welcome Rosette and Erika.
Hi, good morning.
Hi.
Good morning.
Hello.
Good morning.
Welcome to Church Alive.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Yes,
inviting us
being
here. Thank you for inviting us. It's our first time. So
And we're happy
excited.
to have you.
Excited kami.
And then I'll also introduce another couple. With us is a couple that's going strong. 3 years married. Going 3 years married. They have 1 son. And they're part of a charismatic community called Bigaya ng Panginoon, where they serve as leaders in caring for single men and women in their community. So let's all welcome Pip and Wines.
Yes.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Welcome to
Hello.
Church Alive.
Welcome to Church Alive.
Thank you
Great
for
to
being
have
here
you
to our
both here.
couples. Yes. So, gusto kong malaman, how did your love story start? So, maybe we can start with si Eric and Rizette, and then we can proceed with Wines and Pit. So, how did your love start? Who made the first move?
He'll say that I did, but of course, I'll say that he did.
2 versions always.
Inunahan ko na.
No, our relationship kasi started with the conflict of interest. So, diba? Conflict agad, diba? I know kasi I was working for this company and I am with marketing. And then one of my accounts, yung parents ni Rosette. That's how I saw her. So, diba? Conflict. You don't meddle with your accounts. And that's how it started. And we were very young then. I was fresh out of college.
I was still in
college. Can you imagine? Tapos, and then it blossomed. Tapos maging mag-boyfriend-girlfriend kami. Odd ng feeling. I was sometimes drop her off at school. Can you imagine a working guy? Ang girlfriend mo.
I was in 4th year college.
4th year college.
Oh,
too.
okay.
So,
Not too young. Not too young. I think I was 20. Yeah. I was 20. We were boyfriend, girlfriend for 2 years. And then my family decided to migrate to the US, and my father wanted all of us to go, but I had him, so I had to tell him, I had to say that I needed to go, and that basically nagpapaalam na ako sa kanya, and I said that I didn't believe in a long distance relationship, so I was really very sad kasi mahirap. It was noon hindi pa makatulad ng ngayon na we have our phones, our cell phones. Noon long distance, ang mahal-mahal ng long distance, diba? So it would have been unfair for him and for me. But at that point, we were already serious. But I didn't realize how serious he was because nung nagpaalam ako, sabi niya, why don't we get married so that you don't have to go and you will have family, you'll have me. Yeah, that's what we did. And we got married. He asked for the proper way, you know.
Mhm.
Yun.
Ganun ba yun? Hindi, ganun nga yun. Ganun nga yun.
See?
Iba talaga ang versions.
Yeah.
Yes. How about naman si Pit and si Wines?
For us, no, we met in an outreach of Ligay ng Panginoon. It's a charismatic outreach, ang lingkod ng Panginoon in Manila. We both are young professionals. At that time, guest pa lang ako noon. And Wines was already there, no, as a regular member, committed member ng lingkod. And I was the first time that I saw her, ang galing-galing niyang kumanta. Because I am into music as well. So I was really attracted, no. So ang galing naman itong kumanta ng sister na to. At that moment, no, so talagang na-enjoy ko yung music, na-enjoy ko yung company ng lingkod, and that's my first encounter. But how did I know that she's the one? It took years for me. No? After 7 years ko pa siyang inas. Doon ko pa lang siya niligawan. Sobra akong nag-enjoy na mag-serve with the young people. Sobra akong nag-enjoy na mag-outreach. No? So all of those years, because I find myself na hindi pa ready nung time na yon to go into a relationship talaga. And lingkod really helped me, formed me, to prepare me into married life. And that is where doon ko na-realize na I'm ready, no? And also with prayers, no? Because I was looking for, Lord, ano nga ba yung kailangan ko sa isang asawa? And I list down all of those items, no? All of those essentials na hinahanap ko. And nilista ko doon na kailangan meron talagang pagmamahal sa family. No? And I saw in Wines on those 7 years, no, na-witness ko kung paano niya mahalin yung pamangkin niya, yung family niya. And it only confirms yung pagmamahal ko at yung gustuhan ko na maging asawa siya. And then for us, no, yung dating stage was really fun and enjoyable, getting to know her more. And yun, kaya nagtuloy-tuloy na-confirm na okay, she's the one nga talaga.
Ayan.
Grabe. 7
Okay,
years of
version 2
build-up.
naman.
Version 2 nga
Okay.
naman.
Hindi, but just to add lang din dun sa sinabi ni Pete, no? So, syempre yun nga, nabanggit nga na first, mas nauna ako mag-join ng community. So, really, medyo matagal yung aking waiting process or waiting period, no, for that one. And I'm just really thankful for the Lord na He journeyed with me on that waiting period. And nung dumating nga siya, well, definitely, naka-help naman din sa akin that time yung discernment process. Definitely, of course, very important kasi na alam ko dapat ko ano yung mga gusto ko, di ba? Not just, syempre, the looks, no? Given na yan. pero yun, yung mga qualities, ganyan. So, yun. Aside from that, I also bring it up to the Lord, no? To really guide me in choosing, no? And in waiting also for that one. So, definitely, yun, nakita ko naman yun kay Pete. So, very important din sa akin yung may good leadership skills as he mentioned din, no, na talagang nag-serve din siya sa community. So nakita ko yon, and I know that he will be a good leader also of our family, leading our family towards to God. Siyempre, pinakagusto ko din sa kanya yung pagiging patient niya. Dati noon, sabi ko lang, akala ko na, ginujoke lang ako ni Lord. Kasi lang, bigla ko na sa Lord, ano makapag-asawa ko Ilonggo? Pero hindi ko siya nakikita and nakikilala at that time kasi Ilonggo are very known to be very patient, no? And I admire their patience. So natuwa talaga ako sa kanya kasi yun din talaga yung na-experience ko when I get to know him more when we're already in a relationship. And even now, as a married couple, hindi nagbabago yun sa kay Pete, yung kanyang pagiging patience.
Salamat, Pete and Wine. So parang malaking process dun sa finding the one for you is yung discernment and waiting and bringing it up to the Lord. Ano? Actually, I was wondering also sa story ni Eric and Rizette. Especially during that time na magmamigrate na yung family ni Rosette. Like, what was going in your mind also, Eric? Like, how were you sure or how did that thought process of, hindi, the one na to si Rosette eh, bakit di na lang tayo magpakasal?
Kahit yung bata pa ako, parang I know what I want, I know what I like. So, I just don't, how do you say it? I don't just go into something, to anything without deciding, without being ready. Ayaw maniwala ni Rosette na sabi ko nga sa kanya, you're my only girlfriend. Sabi ko,
Wow.
kasi hindi 5-5 pag-ibig ko. It's not just for anyone. Di ba? So yun. So even with work, when I commit, it's total. Kasi it's not like trying to test the waters and see if is it okay? Is it not okay? No, because I mean, I'm just wasting emotions. I'm just wasting time, myself, on the other person. If I just do that, alam mo yun, yung parang palipat-lipat, hindi pala to. So, I don't just go into something without knowing na if I can commit or not.
Actually, it took a while for him also to let me know his intentions. So in the beginning, hindi ko siya maintindihan kung liligaw ba to sa akin o kasi pasulput-sulput siya, parang he'll invite me out, tapos mawawala, tapos he'll invite me again, mawawala. So I wasn't sure what it was. So I guess that was the time, as he was saying, he was discerning. Ako naman, at that time, nagno-novena ako. Sabi ko, but kasi we were young. I guess I told you, I was 20, he was 23, going 24. We were very young. So, but my prayer life has really been there from the very beginning. And so, ako pinagdadasal ko, sana I find him. Sabi ko, sana bring him to me. I remember, San Lorenzo Ruiz was our very new saint at that time. And my thinking was, kay San Lorenzo ako magdadasal kasi tulad ko, bata din siya. At saka, ganado pa yan kasi bagong santo lang yan. So he's going to, if I ask for the one, he will really guide me kasi ganado pa siya. And true enough, one day, I kept on praying. I was sad kasi, malungkot lang ako kasi wala pa, hindi ko mahanap. And then, I think I was sick, I had a fever or something. And dasal ako ng dasal, sabi ko, show me a sign that I was unhappy eh. Sabi ko, show me a sign that I can be happy. And then, yun pala, he called and he found out that I was sick. Sabi ko, ang sign ko kasing hiningi, I wanted a sign of flowers. And all of a sudden, he sent me this big bouquet of flowers. So I said, ito na siguro yung sign. And true enough, siya nga yun, shortly after that, he started letting me know of his serious intentions. So when we got into the relationship, it was serious na from the beginning. It was for the long haul.
We were like in the early 20s, pero siguro our emotional setup, our mental setup is parang 40, parang ganun.
And even if we were boyfriends for 2 years only, many things happened to us during that time, many challenges, because my family was not here. And I had an uncle who passed away. I have a very small family. The uncle didn't have other family but me. So I was the only one to take care of his, while he was in the hospital, while he was ganyan. And he was the one with me, helping me out. Kaming dalawa lang yung pamilya at that time. So that brought us really closer together, facing difficulties that much older people will not know how to handle, but we had to go through that on our own. Together, on our own, pero together.
Actually, balikan ko lang yung sinabi rap ni Eric, no? Yung hindi siya nagtitest ng waters, parang when he commits. Kasi that's very rare considering the age that they started, no? Kasi like right now, I don't know, parang ngayon kasi as in we would like to test waters as much as we can para kapag nandun na, sure na. So parang it's also nice that we're seeing a contrast in their start kasi we're getting two beautiful sides of how love starts. Parang, diba, yung isa 7 years nag-antay, medyo kahit pa paano year of age na parang mas mature na. But the other couple naman is that kahit young nag-start, emotionally, they're already at that point. So parang, ang ganda lang kasi parang laging hinahanda ka for that beautiful start. Parang hindi ka basta, parang hinanda lang sa kanila yung whole situation for them para to let love bloom talaga.
Kumbaga kanya-kanyang timing din talaga.
Oo, yun talaga.
Like it's never one mold.
Yes.
If you include from the beginning, if you include the Lord into the relationship, talagang He binds you together.
Yes. And that's precisely why we also invited two couples na like Eric and Rizette, who are 32 years married already, and Minds and Fit. Going 3 years, tama, no? Fit and Minds. Wow. Palang marami na tayo makikita at maririnig na dynamics ng kanilang partnership.
Mm.
So, siguro, I think it's very cliche to say that marriage is never easy. So, siguro, we can hear from Pit and Minds muna. Like, when did it become more challenging? Or, especially when you got married, kailan nyo na-feel na parang, ayo nga,
Ito na
hindi nga
yan.
ganun kadali ito. Medyo mahirap-hirap pala talaga ang married life. Like,
Yeah. For me, I already felt yung difference talaga, no? On the day one pa lang, nung nagsama na kami sa bahay. One thing that I didn't notice before, transitioning from being single to having someone on the same house, no? Yung wife mo. Unang napansin niya yung gamit. I moved in sa lilipatan namin ng bahay 1 month before our wedding. So, nilagay ko na lahat ng gamit. No? So, the single in me says, okay, lagay ko lang dyan lahat. And then when the time comes na lilipat na si wife, so una niya sinabi sa akin, saan ko nilagay yung mga gamit ko? Parang, nga, no? Parang may asawa na pala ako. So, punong-puno na ng gamit yung bahay. So, for us, yung challenge really yung adjustment period talaga ng paano namin pagkasyahin yung galawan namin sa loob ng bahay. Yung mga gamit, no? Those kind of small things. No? On the honeymoon period, parang you tend to forgo. No? Parang, sige, hayaan mo na lang. Pero habang tumatagal, naiipon. And nanonotice mo. And hindi mo pigilan, sasabihin mo na talaga. And at that time, no, sinasabi sa akin ni Wines na, uy, ang dami mong gamit. Baka pwede mong ipamigay yung ibang yan, mga so, yung tendency ko kasi I'm really a hoarder. No? Sa family namin, parang, kasi ako yung bunso, so lahat ng damit ko noon, mga gamit, hand-me-downs. So nasanay ako na hand-me-down so inasahan ko, ay, baka may next pa nagagamit. So talagang tendency ko, i-hoard for the next person to use. So si Wines naman, nasanay siya na ipamigay ka agad. So yun yung adjustment, minsan kami nagkakaroon ng challenge. For Wines, it's easy for her to let go. For me, nag-hold on pa talaga ako. Kaya kahit sira na yung mga bagay na meron kami, pilit kong inaayos. No? So pero doon kami nagkakaroon ng conflict on how we should manage yung mga nandito sa mga gamit sa bahay. So, kahit simpleng lang, no, yung kung saan ilalagay yung tsinelas at saka sapatos, pinag-aawayan din namin yan noon. Yung sapatos mo, yung tsinelas mo, So it was really challenging really yung adjustment period on the first few months. And also yung kahit yung vacations. Kasi nasanay kami na single, Christmas, New Year, important occasions, we can go whenever we want to go. But since now we are married, we have to decide kung, sige, sa Pasko, dito ka sa amin, sa New Year, dito ka naman sa amin. So we have to decide. Minsan nagkakaroon ng conflict kasi hindi kami makapag-agree na medyo mabigat i-let go na dati 3 weeks ako na sa Iloilo, ngayon 1 week na lang. Parang ganun ba? So may mga ganung tampuhan minsan. But no, it's a give and take for us. Mabigat na nung talagang matagal kaming nagkaroon ng sama ng loob is nung after the wedding, we wanted to go abroad for a vacation. For me, hindi pa ako masyadong sold doon sa idea na, okay, we will go to Korea kasi we're recovering some expenses and papunta na yung pandemic. Pero siya, go na. And for me, parang medyo, sabi nga ni Kuya Eric, no, you have to be decisive and sure ka talaga. Ako noon medyo half-baked pa yung decision ko. And Wines didn't really like the idea. Kailangan kasi pag lalaki ka, you have to be decisive. Yun yung natutunan ko noon nung time na yun. May one time nun, siguro understandable yung mga hormonal changes, no? Umiiyak si Samuel. So, 7 o'clock in the morning, si Wise hindi nakakatulog. So, kinuha ko si Samuel, nilabas. So, umiyak. So, I bring him back sa loob para palitan sana ng diaper. And then, gulat ako, biglang bumukas yung door. Gusto ko lang naman matulog eh. So, at that moment, I was really shocked. Okay, hindi ako nakapag-react agad, no? And so yun, meron talaga mga conflicts, no? Meron kami mga adjustment. And one of the lesson na as a man, no, sa bahay is for me one is to listen first. Second is not to react emotionally, no? Kung kailangan mo nang maging robot for a moment just to receive anong gusto niyang sabihin, no? So yun yung dalawang bagay na natutunan ko. So really challenges are, kahit na kami medyo nasa honeymoon period pa rin, pero malaki talaga yung mga pinagdaanan din namin, no? About kahit yung finances din, no? Struggle din sa amin yun, no? Bibilhin ko ba to or hindi. Dati kasi pag single ka, bili ka lang ng bili. But now you have to think of nasa budget ba namin to? think of your son as well, not to think of Samuel. So doon nanggagaling yung mga conflict and challenges namin.
Siguro yung sa akin, yung first is yung adjustment talaga in terms of making decisions. Kasi syempre medyo late somehow no for my age to get married kasi mga nasa late 30s ako that when I got married. So syempre for a long time I'm used to decide on my own lang. But right, of course nung kinasal kami, also have to consider him, our family. So let's say for example dun sa help that we provide to our family. So ako I used to, since hindi naman kami well-off talaga, so basta pag meron at may kailangan yung family ko, yung immediate family ko, bigay, ganyan. But nung nag-enter na rin kami, then we also have to set somehow parang boundaries kasi we also have to think of our budget at saka yung needs din ng own family namin. So yung mga gano'n na minsan nahihirapan din talaga muna ako nung simula, but with God's grace naman, hindi naman pinabayaan din ng Panginoon yung aking family. So yung concern ko at that time, so He took care of it. And then another would be ako I learned na to really I should learn how to articulate my needs. Kasi siguro if not all women, no, yung tendency kasi is yung iipunin mo lang, hindi mo sasabihin. Ganyan yung concerns mo, yung tapos merong expectation na dapat alam niya na to, dapat hindi ko na to sinasabi, parang ganyan. Dapat gets niya na to. Pero hindi rin yun. I learned that I really have to articulate ano ba yung support na kailangan ko. Is it about the chores ba? Or yun nga kung kailangan ko ng sleep, ganyan, for at least for an hour, parang ganyan. So yung mga ganon, ay yun yung naging challenge sa amin. And at the same time, natuto din ako na kailangan talaga sabihin ko.
Galing, parang even the most practical things na hindi mo akalain will be a challenge. Pag nandun ka na talaga, like it will be one of the foundations that you have to set for your relationship. So, it's nakakatuwa, hindi ko sure yung nakakatuwa ba? I mean, nakaka-inspiring,
tumatawa na sila ngayon.
Nakakatawa, oo nga. Kasi mga babalikan mo na lang na, ito yung mga yung mga pagdaanan natin before. So, thank you, Bit and Wines. How about, for Eric and Rizette naman?
Well, sabi nga ni Rizette, we married young, especially now we look back, sabi namin, we married young. Kasi she was like, what, 23, di ba? And I was only turning 26 when we got married. But before that, siguro the year, kasi it took us a year of preparation to prepare for the wedding day. Okay? But we were lucky enough na both sides, parents, grandparents, na ang daming mga support and guidance. Yung sharing their experiences. So, I think we took note on those guidelines or payo or advices. Like for example, the common source of stresses in a marriage is financial. Yun naman common yan di ba? So, for kasi what we do is, siguro because we are old school, tsaka we are the eldest on both sides, may pagka-control freak kami siguro na before things happen, we anticipate, we prepare. So if in case it happens or if it arrives na more or less naka-set up ka, not totally. For example, you know that eventually, hopefully at the time, you will have children. Di ba? So are you prepared? Di ba ganon? Plus we also talk to our priests, their spiritual advisors. So yung potential sources of problems, pinag-uusapan na kagad. So you don't talk about it when it's here. You talk about it now. So when it arrives and when it faces you, hindi ka magugulat. Kasi pag nagulat ka, that's stressful. I guess like any other young couple, alam mo yun, the struggles of financial stability, it's always a concern. I think, I believe that is helping us at that time is yung aming bang objectives, yung aming goals, our aming visions, aming dreams, pareho ba? Kung pareho, then whatever actions that I do or whatever actions that she will do at the time is towards a common agreed vision or dream. Kasi mahirap, let's say, just for the sake of discussion, I was a Toyota car, she was a Mercedes, let's say. Whatever actions ang gagawin namin, it will never meet at it will never reach an agreement kasi magkaiba kayo ng tinitignan. Magkaiba kayo ng gustong puntahan. And that's not a couple. That's not a marriage, di ba? You have to have the same vision, the same goals, the same dreams, di ba? So, kahit na hindi kayo magkatabi all the time, whatever actions that you will do, your sight is focused on the dream, whatever it is. So, pero we still have our challenges. Yun naman, di mawawala naman yun eh, di ba? The petty things, di ba? Pati yung what will you watch at a certain time? Dati naman, wala pa naman mga cable TV. We only have one TV at that time in our room. Can you imagine? At 7 o'clock prime time, ano panonoorin mo? Yung mga simple stuff. Remember, we were in our 20s, di ba? So, parang mga petty, di ba? And sometimes, petty can leave. Sabi nga, di ba? Sabi nila, pag pumatong yan, eventually, it will come back with vengeance eh. Tapos yun. Pati nga pala yung tinuruan din kami ng aming spiritual advisor how to argue. Hindi mawawala yung away ng mag-asawa eh. But you have to set parameters on how to discuss things, on how to argue. Always maintain respect, the usual, although very napakahirap. Yung do not sleep na magkaaway, parang easier said, parang gano'n, di ba? Tapos walang damay-damay. Pag when you argue, you talk about now. Don't talk about what happened yesterday. Hindi yan related to what happened yesterday. It's only now. It's always now. Plus yung sabi ng mami niya, pag nag-away kayo, huwag mo kukwento sa akin.
Yeah, my mom said that.
Yeah.
Sabi niya, pag nag-away kayo, this from the beginning, when we were discussing things about marriage already, sabi niya, when you fight, don't include your families. Don't tell me. Because you're my daughter. And anything that hurts you will nawala na forgive mo na siya. Ako, galit pa rin sa kanya. Hindi ko yun matatanggal kasi anak kita, sinaktan ka niya. Sabi niya, so pag may problema kayong mag-asawa, seek the help of other people na pwedeng maging neutral para hindi madagdagan yung problema. I remember he talks of a spiritual advisor. It was Father Yalden. When I was in college, I was close to him in Ateneo. And tinanong niya sa amin, sabi niya, I will not officiate your wedding unless I know you're ready for it. So let's get together, just invite me for dinner, and I'll talk. I'll see how your mind works. Sabi niya, kasi I don't want you to be the first couple that separated sa lahat ng mga kinasal ko. And I remember, and I've never forgotten, every time I talk about marriage to other couples or young people, I always go back to that question he asked us. What do you think can be a potential problem for the two of you? And how do you think you will solve it? That was his question. And so Eric said, well, maybe sabi niya, I fear for our financial stability, because I know that sabi niya, because I grew up na okay yung family namin. And sometimes I'm afraid that I might not be up to par as to what she is used to, sabi niya. And so, sabi sa akin ni Father Galdonen, what do you think about that? I said, well, I was raised by my parents to work with what I have and make that whatever I have grow. So, whatever it is he can provide, I will be glad to cultivate it also and make it grow. Yun yung sagot ko. And now when I look back, I said, gosh, I was only 22 when I was saying those things. That's quite mature for, diba? Pero nung time na yun, wala lang, it just came spontaneously. And those are guidelines that up to now, we hold very dear. Parang, sabi niya pati, marriage is an effort. It's not easy. That's why many couples, they separate. But it's up to you how we will face challenges, marami, kunyari lang, pati also rearing children. Di ba kasi I grew up with my family, he grew up with his. Different ways kami pinalaki, even if they're similar, they're different. You're two different individuals. Pinagsama kayo to create one unit. So talagang magkakaroon. But the respect, yun nga sabi nila, di ba? In a marriage, ang love can go, but the marriage can still work. Pero when respect goes out the door, wala na. So talagang kailangan may respect. One time, nung ikakasal kami, I remember nung pinapapili kami for the readings for our wedding. What passage? Basta yung wives, be submissive to your husbands. And of course, ako, woman of the 80s at that time, submissive. Anong submissive? Submissive dyan. Ayoko yung reading na yan. I don't want that. Then one time we heard Mass in De La Estrada, and that was the reading. And the priest, I don't remember the priest, but I remember what he said. When you say, wives, be submissive to your husbands, it doesn't mean to say you blindly obey. But it is more for the man also, because the man has, as the leader of the family, he has to serve his family. Whatever it is that he wants, hindi ibig sabihin dictator siya na dahil ito yung gusto ko, ito lang masusunod. Hindi. Pag nagdesisyon siya, kailangan he took into consideration his wife, his children, the other members of their family before he makes a decision, because a good leader will be able to put all of those things together and decide for everybody. Noon ko lang siya naintindihan and I appreciated that kasi it made sense to me na kaya pala kailangan ko rin siyang sundin kasi at gano'n naman siya. Pag nagdesisyon siya, sometimes it's harsh for me, parang ba't ganyan yung gusto mong desisyon? But then eventually I realized that kasi it's for the best for us. It's not just selfish. It's not just for you. Kasi you always put me and the children as priority. So it's for us. Yun pa, yung being a leader, the ship can't have two captains talaga. One time we had an American friend and we were at a party. And sabi niya sa akin, he was seated on the table. I just came from the buffet. I got dessert. And then he told me, is there a leche flan? Can you get for me? And the American woman goes, how dare you do that to your wife? Why? You have 2 feet. Why don't you stand up and get it? But I said, no, it's okay because I do it lovingly. I enjoy that he asks me because I know that makes him happy. And isn't that what love is all about? It's when you know that you can do things to make him happy. Masaya kong ginagawa kasi mahal ko siya. But mind you, it's not easy talaga. Kasi syempre, kung minsan may gusto ka din, na kaya lang iba sa gusto niya. But you just have to trust that his decision, kaya you let him lead. Kasi kung pareho kayong nagli-lead, maghuhihilahan lang kayo and then it will not go anywhere.
Tsaka it takes years. It takes years. Yeah. Kaya nga, di ba, pagka yung mga lolo't lola na, yaman, ganyan ang gagawin niya. You're able to more or less predict what will make him angry, what will make him unhappy, di ba? Kung kaya mo nang basta, ayaw ayaw mong gawin yan. Kasi ganun.
And one more important thing, yung in a marriage, it's important to have the romance going. We've been married 32 years, but we still enjoy our date nights. We still enjoy traveling together na kaming dalawa lang. That's important Kasi there would not have been a family if it wasn't the two of you. You have to be friends talaga.
I'm pretty sure our FRC fam who are watching right now, you are getting so many tips. Bring out your notebooks. It's time to take notes.
Wow.
But marriage is always a work in progress. Not because you were married for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, akala mo, na yan, perfect marriage. Walang perfect marriage. Wala. I have yet to see one.
I have a follow-up question ng rap sa ating couple, sila Eric and Rizette. I'm curious, are there any other individual decisions once you're married? Or is it lahat na ng decisions, even if it's, for example, regarding work, for example, career of Rizette or Eric? Is it something that you can decide on your own, or is it something that you also decide for the family? Wala na ba siyang parang yun? Wala na ba siyang personal decisions? Parang, I'm curious to know.
Well, kasi kami, right now, we run our own business. So, mas mahirap yun. Kasi when you are, let's say, work for a company, at 5, 6 o'clock in the evening, work is done. Yeah. You go home, it's your personal time. When you have your own company, it's a 24-hour thing. Tapos we both involved. So,
We own our companies,
So-
the two of us.
So, kung ano yung problema sa office,
Bit-bit namin.
madaling, hindi imposible bit-bit mo sa bahay. So, but our individuality is still there. Andun pa rin naman. Like for example, ito lang recent elections lang ba? Sabi ko, kasi we are both, I were both active in PPCRV. I am the head of the PPCRV here at Miriam College. But I don't stop her for whoever she wants to
Campaign for.
not really campaign, to support, diba? So that's her thing. Okay, if she wants to go out with her friends, that's fine
To
with
a rally,
me. So,
that
diba?
was fine. Hindi niya ako pinigilan.
Go out with your friends, okay lang. Hindi siya yung, Eric, pwede ba akong lumabas with my friends? No, it's not like that. It's, may lakad ba tayo? Why? Kasi I'm going out with my friends. Okay.
But having said that, I was also very careful din naman na, because I know that we're the couple head for PPCRP, na syempre hindi rin ako pwedeng irresponsible, you know. I always put also into consideration his role as the head of PPCRP. So even if I was strongly supporting, parang sabi ko, as the days were coming closer to the elections, I stopped na being visible in rallies and all that. But prior to that, he would let me, hindi niya ako pinipigilan. So yes, individuality, pero kasi alam mo na after a while of being married, kaya nyo nang timplahin yung isa't isa. You know what irks him, he knows what pisses me off. So matatansya na namin. I know that when he's working, because when he works, it's really concentrated. Hindi ko na dapat ikasama ng loob pag may ginagawa siya at may tinanong ako at sinabihan niya ako ng ganon. Nung bata ako, ano ba? Bastos mo naman. Ba't ka ginaganon? Diba? Pero naintindihan ko na later on na, but that's how concentrated he is. Di naman masama yun that he's concentrated, diba? So kung magtatampo ako, kung magiging sensitive ako, yan challenge yun to learn how to do that. And it took a while for me to learn how to not get hurt with his nuances. And up to now, may mga lumalabas pa rin na new nuances. But you know, yun nga after a while na you get the groove of things and you know how to timplahin.
Pag bata ka, lahat issue. Lahat issue. Kahit petty issue lahat
Pag matanda ka, you choose your battles.
Uh-huh.
Totoo.
Tapos eventually, you learn to choose your battles.
Thank you for your share. We appreciate
Kasi yata
you
mag-notes
sharing
si Chai
it
dyan
to all of us. Nasa utak ko na lahat ng notes. No, but I want to go to Wines and Pit. I'm curious to know, was there ever a time that you questioned if each other was actually the one?
Well, for me, no, yung the moment na yan, I was always reminded na during the time na we are preparing for our marriage, no, sa kasal namin, sa wedding, we undergo into 10 weeks for a better marriage and marriage discernment program as well. Para mapag-usapan na ba, ano yung mga issues niyo, ano yung mga concerns niyo before getting into this big decision. No, kasi hindi to pwede na once kinasal ka, pwede ka pang umatras. No? It's not about that. But it's more on preparing yourself on what lies ahead. One of the questions that's really struck me, yung tanong na yan, no? Yung sinabi sa akin ng nag-guide sa amin is, never doubt the love of each other. Kahit na nag-aaway kayo, kahit na may tampuhan kayo, never doubt yung pagmamahalan nyo sa isa't isa. And for me, yun yung naging mantra ko, or every time that kahit na nag-aaway kami or kahit may misunderstanding, to never doubt yung pagmamahalan namin sa isa't isa. Yung tampuhan, it will come, and also it will go. No, it's just an emotion, but the love is a decision. And a decision must never be doubt. Na mag-doubt ka dapat dun sa meron kayo na couples. No? So for us, it's not an issue na mahal kaya ako nito. No? You can ask it teasingly, but yung pagtatanong na mahal kaya ako nito, it's not a question of na merong doubt, but asaran lang. Kasi minsan naalala ko dati, palaging tinatanong sa akin ni Wens, do you love me? Gumaganon siya palagi, no? So it's not a question na alam ko na may doubt. Minsan inaasar niya ako, baka may doubt yan, pero alam kong hindi. So it's more of a question of, because she wanted affirmation. No? She wanted to hear na I love you. Baka nakalimutan kong sabihin sa araw na to na I love her. So it's a reminder for me na to say I love you every day to her. And I know that isa siyang sagot sa dasal ko sa Panginoon. And if I doubt the love that we have, no, it's also a doubt that I have sa Panginoon, sa faith ko sa Kanya. Because she's an answered prayer. And I know na pag binigay ng Diyos, wala nang bawian yun. So it's for us, no, it's really a no room for doubt in that area.
Actually, sinabi ko na yung echo ko na lang yun din. Yun nga, love is a decision talaga. And yun nga, every decision din talaga na pinagdasal mo, nilift up mo kay Lord, the Lord will really grant you the grace that you, ayun, wala rin akong doubt doon. And actually, maganda nga din yung shinare sa amin nung nag-guide din sa amin during our marriage preparation na never doubt the love of your spouse for you.
Salamat, Pit and Wines. Natandaan, nag-strike sa akin yung sinabi ni Pit about you're the one being an answered prayer. And doubting your partner's presence in your life and his or her love for you. And also equate somehow to doubting the God's gift or blessing to you. Siyempre, pinagdasal mo ito at binigay ng Panginoon. Salamat sa wisdom na na-share ng ating couples for this episode. And if I may actually, ang pumapasok sa isip ko, that's also quite relevant for us this week, are two individuals, but of course, they're also a couple. And that's,
yes.
Of course, this month is also Mary's month, May. And then May 1 is also the feast day of St. Joseph, the worker. And it's interesting kasi madalas natin pag-usapan si Mary and Joseph as individuals. But I guess it's quite underrated, especially for our time now, to also look to them as a model, as a couple. I don't know po if Mary and Joseph is like one of those couples that you also come to mind when you think about your love story or like the way that you want to treat your husband and wife. Maybe meron po kayong any input if you'd like to share how Mary and Joseph have been also a model for you.
So for us, no, it's really a model family that we look up to. Jesus, Mary, and Joseph. Yung relationship nila. And for me as a father, I really look up to Joseph, no, as a role model. One, because of his obedience sa will ng Panginoon. Obedience, meron siyang sariling plano and he has his own desires as well. No? But the will of the Lord yung nanaig sa kanya sa mga decisions na ginawa niya. And second is yung being a silent worker. No? Bihirang-bihira nating marinig si Joseph sa Bible. No? But what strikes me most is him being a silent worker. And for me, as a father, no, as a husband, parang less talk, more action. Ganun yung take ko doon, no? Less talk, more action. Less complain, more loving. So, kasi ganun pinakita ni Joseph eh. Doon ko nako-connect yung sarili ko. May mga bagay na uncertain, no? But I always look up to Joseph na tahimik lang siyang ginagawa yung kagustuhan ng Panginoon. No need to complain, no need to kailangan ipagsigawan sa lahat mo, but just work, no? And then follow kung ano yung gustong gawin ng Panginoon and follow kung ano yung be a good example to your family. So yun yung kagustuhan. Lalo na ngayon, no, that family is being attacked in several platforms in different ways, no? Yung very good reminder, just look up to Joseph, no? Just look up to how he lead Mary, no? Kumbaga, yung pinaka-example dyan is yung pagtawid niya kay Mary. Ganon din yung example is paano ko itatawid yung family ko to overcome all of these challenges.
So just to add lang din dun sa nabanggit na ni Pete, no? Ako, I really honor din and I really want to parang si Mama Mary as model when it comes to her submission and obedience. Kasi katulad nga nung nabanggit ni Pete na nag-travel sila, di ba? Before manganak si Mama Mary, just with a donkey, they had that long travel. Parang naalala ko lang na ako nga na nabuntis. Parang medyo mahirap, no? Mahirap, parang inconvenient. Parang sabi ko, baka magreklamo ako nung kay St. John. Talaga ba, ibabiyahe mo ko? Parang ganyan. Manganak na ako, tapos naka-donkey lang, di ba? Ang sakit pa. So yung nakakaano lang na, ang galing, amazing, inspiring, kasi ang hirap nun, ang hirap nung mga time na yon kung makiki-journey lang ako sa kanila, no? And I really honor Mama Mary for perhaps, I believe, she did not complain at all, no? Na ako, I really have to work on that area, yung pagiging submissive, and yung syempre less complaining, ganyan, to be obedient. So yun. And then another would be, I'm really inspired dun sa, yung sa presentation in the temple, diba? Where Mama Mary and Saint Joseph, and of course, Jesus, they presented Jesus. No? Although, of course, that was, I believe, the custom or the tradition during that time. But I mean, for that gesture, kasi there are times na minsan pag andyan na yung bundle of joy mo, nawawala na yung focus mo, na parang minsan gusto niyo magstay. Kami na lang ng family ko, parang ganyan. Kami na lang, masaya na kami, and all complete na kami, ganyan. But I was really reminded na, no, we really have to dedicate this to the Lord. Everything na binigay sa amin ng Panginoon, yung marriage namin, yung vocation namin, yung anak namin, we still have to dedicate it to the Lord. Kumbaga parang focus yung really on the giver and not just to the gifts.
Ako naman, when I see Saint Joseph, si Mama Mary, di ba? It's a reminder to me na who am I? What is my role? What are my responsibilities in the marriage? Pag inisip mo yun, malaki. Di ba? Malaking role ang gagampanan ko sa marriage. Marami akong responsibilities. It's no joke. Kasi these are responsibilities for life. Awareness on my part na you entered in a relationship, a commitment, and the commitment comes with huge responsibilities. So tama sabi nga nila Pete at kanila Wines na si Saint Joseph, di ba? When he took the responsibilities, di ba? With trust and faith, na knowing you don't know the woman who will be pregnant, who's supposed to carry. Bila mo, inisip ko kung ngayon lang nasabihin sa let's say, oh Eric, here is Rosette. She will be pregnant. Parang,
Iba na lang.
Sino ka, di ba? Parang, di ba? Nowadays, di ba? May kumatok sa'yo, tapos imagine mo, putingin parang on a lighter mood na, here comes an angel saying, oh Eric, may mamimit ka. Pangalan niya Rosette. Mabubuntis siya. Ang magiging baby niya, si ganun, di ba? Parang, wow. Di ba? Parang, so, now going back to what yung reality talaga, it's, di ba, you met someone, you're committed to her, you're committed to the family, so you should know your responsibilities. So that's how I look at them. How they influence me, how Saint Joseph influences me with my daily actions, with the way, what is my role in the family.
They're role models talaga, the best that you can have. Kasi, di ba, Holy Family, talagang isang buong unit yon. And maraming challenges tayo in life, as husband, wife, as mother, as father. And sometimes napapanghinaan tayo ng loob. But looking at the Holy Family and thinking of all the struggles they've had, parati ang thinking ko, kung sila napagdaanan nila what they had to go through. Si Mother Mary, seeing your son on the cross, being at the foot of that cross, parang kung siya natanggap niya yun, ano man yung ibinibigay sa akin ni Lord na challenges, it's nothing compared to that. That gives me strength. And it always gives me hope.
Thank you for that.
Salamat, Eric and Rizette. I think highlight that for me that you were emphasizing is the importance of knowing your role as husband in life, especially in the context of not just your union as a married couple, of course, but also as a family, and how the Lord is also using your family, di ba, to build this kingdom. And lalo na sa panahon natin ngayon, siya, marami talagang challenges yung family life, how it's being destroyed, and a lot of those issues. Parang root din talaga dun is yung understanding and embracing one's role in that context, whether you're the husband or the wife. If you really look at it in a loving perspective and how God made us and how God wills for us to live our family's lives, imagine mo na lang si Joseph kung paano niya make sense yun.
Exactly.
Yung situation niya and still heed to God's call in obedience. It takes courage and love to do that.
That's so true. If I'm just gonna say, no, we introduced two couples here today, but actually, FRC fam, we actually introduced three. Kasi as you mentioned nga, no, parang underrated ang love story ni Mother Mary and Saint Joseph. And today we're able to highlight that na although we usually hear about individual stories about the two, we're able to come to a union today and talk about the greatness of their married life. Kung nga. So, actually, yung isa rin na naisip ko no, to our FRC fam, napansin ko rin kasi na at least on my group of friends, no, marami na rin this pandemic ang kinasal na young couples. I have a friend who was just engaged like a few weeks ago. So, this show would really help them know once they enter into that next step of their relationship na we have one couple who's 32 years na married and then we have one who just entered and 3 years in na ng married life nila. So it's really getting two sides of marriage na we're able to bring that story out and inspire. And then using Mama Mary and Saint Joseph's story to inspire them and to show them na 'di ba kasi pag-isipan mo pag sinimulan natin thinking Mother Mary and Saint Joseph parang halang taas naman nun, parang paano namin gagawin yun in real life, 'di ba? But having heard these stories of two married couples na merong reality, syempre mahirap, nakakainis, 'di ba? Na parang parents ko rin nakikita ko sometimes parang relax lang kayo. Parang there's really that reality na oh my gosh, it's really hard. But it doesn't really get easier. I would say it's always constant work. No, as what Rosette would say, no, it's really something if you want it to work, you're gonna have to keep working hard for it every single day. And what Pitt and Wine said naman, it's a choice. Love is a choice. Staying together is also a choice. And syempre, pag binigay ni God yung gift, parang alam nga namang sabi mo ayoko na kasi, di ba? You should be really thankful for that gift and not regret that decision you make with that gift. So it's just wonderful and inspiring, especially sa ating dalawa rap na wala pang the one.
Medyo in the process pa yan. Pero mas tumatak talaga sa akin na mahirap nga talaga magmahal, no? But it's great to have #relationship goals available
that
to
is
us.
so
diba?
true.
A lot of couples ahead of us, but also most definitely Mary and Joseph.
Yeah, so ang ating FRC fam, busog na naman once again with inspirational stories with our presence of the two couples here.
Yes.
So thank you very much. Maybe wrapping in natin ang last words of inspiration naman for our couples out there na nakikinig at nanonood sa atin ngayon.
For us, no advice, especially for us young couples, we're still adjusting. No, we're still adjusting at this stage. For me, it's really helpful that if you find a support group. No, it's very important. No, it's lalo na pag meron ka ng anak. No, it takes a village to raise a child. Mahirap mag-raise na kayo lang na parents, no? But for us, it's really a village effort. And for me, what I say, it's a community effort. We are able to raise our own son and also our marriage. No, it's not actually just us, but it's God and with the help of our community. So it really takes a big help, no, especially for young couples and for soon to be married, no, that to find a support group. Marami tayong group sa loob ng Simbahang Katoliko. And that will help you, mold you, and improve your relationship, as husband and wife. For us, no, it's because I can say that because we have received very practical help. Nagkaroon kami ng anak during the pandemic. Walang biyahe ng Grab, walang taxi. I don't have a car. We don't have a car. And those who really help us, our brothers and sisters in ang ligay ng Panginoon. To the point na kahit yung driver nila, pinapadala nila sa bahay. Just to help us go to the checkups, go to the hospital. So it's very, very helpful for us. Yun yung practical. And pag meron kaming mga concerns, pag meron kaming misunderstanding, sinabi na rin kanina ni Kuya Eric, no, ni Ate Rizette, na that you have to find a neutral advice, no, hindi galing sa parents mo or galing sa parents ng wife mo. It's really true. When you go to a third party or yung kaibigan or leaders, for us, we go to our leaders and ask help and advice. If we are struggling in this area, so that's one. So really find a community or a group that can support your marriage and your family. Second is, for as a husband, learn to listen. Kung ano man yung sinasabi ng wife mo. It's not because you're the husband, you have the say for everything. You have to learn the art of listening and process it. And then when you make a decision, it's not yours, but the decision as a family. But at the end of the day, kahit na, lalo na sa husbands, kahit nakita mo na nag-decide ka na, pero nakita mo na mas maganda yung decision ng wife mo, you have to lower down your pride and say, okay, mas maganda yung advice mo. Pangatlo siguro, if palagi na natin sinasabi na we have to forgive each other always, lalo na pag merong away, communicate, and huwag nating hayaang matapos yung araw na hindi na pag-uusapan. Kung hindi man ma-resolve ng isang araw, but bago kayo matulog, importante na at peace kayo. Yun yung importante doon. Kung hindi man ma-resolve yung problema, natulog kayong at peace. Para the next day, baka nandun na yung solusyon sa problema na kailangan yung gawin.
Siguro dagdag ko na lang din, two things, teamwork and communication. So teamwork, katulad din ng nabanggit na nila Kuya Eric and Ate Rizette kanina, di ba? And actually, yun din talaga yung natutunan ko kay Pete. Ang mag-asawa, ang marriage, really, for it to work, kailangan paghirapan Kailangan patuloy, meron kayong gagawin. And like, let's say yun guys, sabi sa akin ni Pete noon, in terms sa mga, hindi lang sa chores, pero basta lahat, even hindi lang sa joys yung aming sinishare, pero lalo na yung mga difficulties, yung mga challenges. Yung katulad ng sinabi ni Ate Lizette kanina, very important din yung magde-date pa rin, Kasi yung kilig during the ligawan stage and boyfriend-girlfriend may not be the same kilig, Pero hindi porke hindi ka nakinikilig, hindi nyo na love yung bawat isa. Hindi yun totoo. Kasi yun nga, love is a decision na kahit ilang years na yung aming marriage, magde-date at magde-date pa rin kami. Yun. And then, last na lang would be communication. So, very important talaga, like, dun sa experience ko would be learn how to articulate ko ano yung mga needs ko, ano yung thoughts ko, ganyan. Very important din para at least maintindihan din ako ni Pete, ganyan. And at the same time, yung constant communication natin with the Lord through prayer, that's very, very important.
Create your own family tradition na something na mapapamana mo sa mga anak mo. And one of that is, you go on vacation. You have to decide, plan ahead na like once a year or twice a year, you can go on vacation. Parang tradition yun na. Or every weekend, you celebrate, you eat together as a family, or you parang magkaroon kayo ng pattern and tradition. That's something that will really help you and navigate you sa mga difficulties in a relationship. So yun, maganda yun. Create your own family tradition.
Well, what I can say to young people, like kayong dalawa, the host of this show, is if ever that time comes that kung wala pa I don't know naman kasi your love stories, di ba? Kaya sometimes kasi sabi ko sa simbahan, pag hinahanap ko sa mga kasama namin sa church, andyan yung ex-girlfriend ko. Sino? Siya. Hindi ko na siya. Ex-girlfriend ko yan pero may asawa ko na siya. Diba, parang ganun. But seriously, ang dami ko naririnig sa young people na are afraid to get into marriage. Kasi ang mahal gastos, mahal magpaaral, puro yung concept of problema palagi ang pumapasok. But then again, when you get married, it's not you anymore. It's we, it's us, di ba? Palaging ganun. It cannot be all you. Hindi na nga pala ako. Kami na pala to. Do not be afraid. Do not fear of getting married or entering into a marriage. I guess what's more important is, are you willing to commit? Yun And are you willing to work on it? In our families, palaging, sige nga Eric, kasabi mo yan. Mga ganyan yung mga boyfriend na, alam mo yung mga sa 2 taon na, nasasabi ko sa kanila, alam mo, ang kasal o ang marriage, hindi yan Pasko araw-araw. Hindi yan piyesta araw-araw, di ba? Meron ding araw ng patay, may Kwaresma yan, at may piyesta, may Pasko, yan. But you have to learn how to deal with it, di ba? You as a couple, di ba? It gets more complicated. Pumasok na nga yung anak, At mas lalo nagiging complicated kapag nakialam ang mga kamag-anak, di ba? Di ba? Yun. But then again, when you enter into a marriage, di ba? You don't only marry your spouse.
Yes.
You marry the family, lahat yan. Yung na-meet mo, yung partner mo, I believe, is a reflection of the family. Kasi yung values ng family, the whole family, is values din ng spouse mo yan eh. Wala dapat pinagkaiba, di ba? So that's why when I say, pakakasala mo ba yan? Kilala mo na ba yung parents niya? Parang tanda-tanda ko na, parang kung nagsalita ko, parang kung lolo at lola, nakilala mo na ba yung parents niyan? Yung mga kapatid niyan, di ba? Yung pala yung values ng bakit ng mga lola at lola namin. Ay, sino ba yung mapapang-asawa mo? Taga saan ba yan? Di ba? Sino ba yung mga ganyan, di ba? Yung kasi, hindi pala nakikialam kung, ano ba, it's not like, ano ba itsura ng pamilya na yan? No. It's, ano ba ang values na nakalakihan ng pamilya na yan? Kasi yung values na yan, that will come into your marriage. At pati sa pagpapalaki ng pamilya, papasok. If you are in a marriage, enjoy it. Enjoy diba? It will always be an adventure. Some adventures are easy. Some adventures are really challenging. Siguro nga kami pag dumating, minsan mapunta kami sa edad na doon lang pala yun. Diba? Samantala nung bata ka, parang lahat iiyakan mo, lahat problema mo, diba? Trust God. Put God in the middle of your marriage, the center of your marriage, diba? And then believe that He will help you solve your problems. Kung may problema man, lilipas din yan. Diba? Isa pa pala sinasabi, na minsan sabi, ang baduy mo naman. Sabi sa kasi, di ba, kahit ang langit, pag umulan yan, mapapagod din yan. Eventually, ang pagluha ng langit, hihinto at sisikat ang araw. O, di ba, ang baduy. Pero that's true, di ba? It will not rain all the time. Some days, it will be rainy days, di ba?
There's always a rainbow.
Di ba? Sometimes, kalahati, 10 minutes lang, umulan lang. Pero eventually, lilipas din yan. Sisikat din ang araw.
So ako naman, kanina 'di ba sabi niyo mahirap ang pagiging to stay as mag-asawa. But I'd like to emphasize na masarap din siya. Kasi napakasarap na gigising ka sa umaga, alam mo may katabi kang nagmamahal sa'yo. And I'd rather emphasize that, yes, it is hard. It is hard. But wouldn't it be harder kung pagising mo sa umaga mag-isa ka lang? Sa mga bata, kasi pag in-emphasize natin yung hirap, baka matakot sila. And I think that's what's happening to the young couples now. Kasi a lot of them, older na sila nag-aasawa, more mature. So financially stable na sila when they got into it. Siguro an advantage we had when we got married was that although we were financially already independent, ang needs ng mas batang couple, mas simple. So we grew together. As a couple, we grew together. And in that growth, talagang centered, tatlo kami in the marriage because the Lord was always there. Everything that we did, everything that we worked on, parati siyang nandun. Pag nahirapan kami, siya ang pinupuntahan namin. Pag masaya kami, siya rin ang kasama namin. Siya ang pinagpapasalamatan namin. So, and that gives us strength to deal with the mahirap. And to look at the mahirap and later on just say, masarap din naman pala. Kasi talaga namang masarap din ang may asawa. Yung pagiging mahirap niya, if you just focus on the mahirap all the time, that's what it's going to be. Mahirap. Pero kung nanamnamin, ang ganda ng word na yun nanamnamin mo yung sarap ng pakiramdam ng may asawa, then it can become enjoyable. At saka pag linagay mo pa si Kristo sa sentro, alam mong may nag-aalaga sa inyo. You let go, you let God, you look up to Mother Mary to guide you. You pray together as a family. And now also at this point in our lives, meron na kaming, di ba, napalaki na namin, our sons are turning 31 and turning 28. Napalaki na namin sila. So it's time to give back naman. It's another sense of purpose. That's why we're so involved in the service of Our Lady of Pentecost. And there's so much joy in that also. It's difficult. It has a lot of challenges. But it's also something that we enjoy as a couple. Yun important sa couples Yung meron kayo dapat, okay, may individuality kayo. But there must be a lot of things you find joy in together. Doing things together, having a purpose together, because that gives you meaning to all your days. So yun, find your purpose, find joy in the purpose that God has entrusted into you. Kasi lahat tayo binigyan ng responsibilidad. It comes with authority, but it also comes with a lot of responsibility. And just be up to that challenge. Kasi pag linagay nga natin si Kristo sa sentro ng ating buhay, then everything kayang-kaya natin.
Amen.
Yes.
Maraming salamat to our couples, Eric Rizette and Pit and Wines. Very rich ang usapan natin for also such a rich topic. Especially when we talk about finding the one and looking to our models. Ako, Chay, I'm very inspired by our couples here with the way that they've responded to God's call, their vocation as married as husband and wife. And syempre, looking forward din ako. Sana kayo din, FRC fam, to kung saan man tayo tawagin ng Panginoon, to really commit to it, to work hard for our vocation as well, and to look forward to the one na nakalaan para sa atin, mula sa ating Panginoon. Emphasize ko lang din yung ako, malaki yung natutunan ko talaga dun sa looking to Joseph and Mary as our model. Saan ka nga ba naman pupunta pa? Marami kang mapupulot sa kanilang kwento, sa kanilang mga experience. And of course, yun yung parang, kumbaga, when you talk about the Holy Family, it's really a relationship centered, quite literally, around God. So, I think that's very important as well for us.
I think nice yung sinabi nila na nandun talaga yung guidance of God in the relationship. I like what Rosette said na hindi sila dalawa lang. They were actually three in the relationship all along. Kasi nga, it's really important have that someone to talk to and you're just quiet and then, everything's so hard. Siyempre, hindi naman lahat ng bagay masasabi mo to your partner. So having God also to guide you and to enlighten you at times, it's really difficult to deal with your partner, to deal with your husband, your wife. Diba? Parang, thank you, God, na nandito ka to guide us, to enlighten us. And balik ko lang, Rap, no, yung sa, di ba, we asked each other, no, parang, have you found the one? And paano nga naman ba natin mahahanap ang the one kung takot tayo to commit, di ba? Like, you really have to jump, stop testing the waters, just go for it, see what's there. And kasi that's when you'll know Like how, di ba, parang si Pet tumalon after 7 years and asked Wines na, okay, like I wanna, get to know you and see where we're gonna go. So, sa ating mga ka-age na takot mag-commit, I think what the stories that we, the
Takot
stories
nga ba?
that
Parang
we
ang dami
heard.
palang kinakasal
Oo nga pero parang,
ngayon
at least for those, no, whatever age.
Yes.
Kasi being ready is really not reliant on age, I would say. Kasi, we see the different contrast of two stories na it's really not a matter of age. So, I think our FRC fam, alam ko na nag-iiba ang age nating lahat, pero I think the stories that we heard today are really nice, na it inspires us also to take that step, no? To open our hearts to people that are, are there. Malay nyo, nasa harapan nilang pala ang the one. Pero, nakapikit ka kasi, wag ka pumikit. Diba? Rap, ikaw, ready ka na bang tumalon?
Ako, I'm preparing na naman. So, tingnan natin kung saan dadalhin ng Panginoon yan.
Yes, if you will respond to God's call. No, so, thank you again to our wonderful guests, sharing your love stories, your hardships.
Thank you so much.
It takes courage, and thank you for your bravery and entrusting us your story. So, it's really nice to have you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Salamat.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And to our FRC fam, thank you for joining us in another episode. Again, this is Chai.
And the Rap who leave you with the wise words of Venerable Patrick Peyton that
The family that prays together stays together.
in a world that prayer is a world at peace. Maraming salamat. See you, FRC fam.